It's not really that early, is it, Dave Darko? It's a little bit. Oh, sorry, you're way too early. Yeah. Oh, I just read the timestamp of your message there. It was way too early. Um, yeah. I didn't start streaming here until right now though, right? Because I would have broken my Twitch affiliate agreement if I was streaming to both places. I'm pretty sure I wasn't though. Hey, so hey Dave, Leo, Michael, Paddy, and Dave again. Um, yeah. So yeah, no, I wonder whether I'll ever make that mistake. So I have to in OBS I need to switch between profiles to make sure to make sure that it's working. You've been subbing for 4 months, have you? Thanks a lot. I don't I don't know why the alert box didn't come up, but appreciate the subs, Colin. And hey, Gavin, how's things, everybody? I was already talking to you. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what people think about the format of the earlier thing. I'm just trying something new out because I don't know. I feel like the the post bag videos, like I started doing them because they were like quick videos, but they're not that quick at all. Like, as in, you still spend a pretty similar amount of time editing them and stuff like that. So, like, I just felt like they were kind of getting in the way. Like, as in, and even, if I released a post bag video, I was nearly like, okay, that's me good for releasing a video for, um, that's good for me, like, releasing a video for a couple of weeks, maybe, or whatever. So, hey, Mike and Gary, um, yeah, so I just thought it'd be better because, like, the postback videos tend to run on a little bit anyways. So, like, if I just did the postback videos at the start, kind of focused on the postbagged aspect of it, and then any time we had left over, we could, like, use to chat or do whatever. And then, like, if somebody wanted to watch the postbag part, it's just right at the start, and when it stops being a postbag, they can just, like, drop off. Um, yeah, so we'll see. Does it work out? I should have a good bit of stuff coming at the moment as well, so I don't know how often I'll do it, but I'd say at least every two 2 weeks I'd be able to do it. Hey Rob and Blueprint, 3D and Gregor, how's it going, everybody? Um, yeah, so I'm a little nervous about this actually, for lots of reasons. So let's go to desk plus me. Um, so you can see here that this is still sealed, so I have not even beeped this out yet. Hey David, how's it going? Um, yeah, so I'm a little bit scared about it. And also, I have done so little SMD soldering before. Uh, I think I think I replaced a few fuses on Nintendo DS's. They would have been SMD, like that was yonks ago. Uh, it makes sense, really. Like, a lot of people would watch YouTube on their app on their phone and stuff, and like moving over to Twitch would be quite awkward. Um, yeah, like even do you even need to sign up for an account to be able to watch people and stuff? Hey, Low Motor, how's it going? Um, yeah, so I've a couple of things that I'm battling with. One is the whole, does the board work at all? And two is doing SMD live on stream for almost the first time. So yeah, this was a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. Um, so let's cut into this bad boy. So look, you can still see it's sealed. Nobody can nobody can accuse me of cheating. Yeah, so like, if you're on your phone and like somebody goes, hey, let's all move to Twitch, and you have to go set up an account, you might be like, nah, no thanks. Hey, Itinratam, Itin How do I pronounce that name? Itineretam? How's it going? Okay, so here we go. From China, was it? I kind of could do with another multimeter. Okay, so here's the board, and if you're not familiar with this project, it's basically this. So it's a 7-segment display, has got a couple of buttons, it's gonna have a Wemos on it, a buzzer, and that's pretty much it. So, oh, no problem at all. You might notice that I threw on the BLC PCD logo onto the silk screen, wondering whether JLC would have a problem with it. I guess they did not. Hey, other Lone Star, it's the block alarm clock time. Yeah. Just for anyone new to the streams and stuff as well, the other Lone Star streams on Twitch as well, on similar kind of stuff. So, yeah. You should definitely check him out. How did your I want to say glockenspiel, but that's not what it is, right? It's a I don't know. What is it called? Yeah, they don't care. They just want the money. It's not a glockenspiel. It's a cool. What was the name of it? Anyway, so I got this panelized by JLC, so I got 2 on it. I'll cover it in the review, but interestingly enough, I needed to make this wider for Glockenbot, so it is a glockenspiel. I had to make this wider to fit their panelizing, so like the squares on my cutting mat here are 1 centimeter each. The minimum size you can have for the minimum width or height you can have for panelizing is 7 centimeters. So you can see that with these side things here, it's just over 7. But yeah, and I'll cover it in the review. But like when I panelized it, so I ordered it, and they came back and said like that's not wide enough. We've had to cancel that part of your order. So I made it wider and went to order it again. But you don't get to specify which side has these edges on them. And it was trying to put them on the top and bottom, and I got in contact with support, and like straight away they just said leave a note to tell them to panelize it this way, and I did, and it went through fine. So did you panelize using the option I panelized in, I think I downloaded them as Gerbers and then uploaded them again and panelized in, like it was panelized in the JLCP or JLC PCB page, like is in the same way if you uploaded them from anywhere. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay, so it's funny, like it's quite small. I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to be this small, even though I knew what size it was because I made them, but that's kind of bright. So let's just check some size things. The D1 Mini should fit okay. I'm not overly concerned about that. One thing I'm a little bit worried about is the 7-segment display. I'm worried that the pins on the bottom of that are going to hit into the D1 Mini. And it would seem like that's going to be the case here, if they fit at all. Let's take out the D1 Mini first, make sure there's no issues with that. Okay, so it looks like they're the right size anyways. So yeah, you can see it goes through quite a long way. So like after it's soldered up, I guess we could snip the legs of it we can also try put the Wiimotes on stilts, which isn't ideal. So you can see, I don't know, can you see that? It doesn't press down fully. 4 seconds, that's insane. I thought the I thought the TS100 was pretty fast. Okay, so what I'll try do is, like, I'll put the Wiimotes on last, I would say, and we'll see what the story is with it. Like, if I can cut them down small enough, then we might be okay. Like, it looks like I have a good bit to cut off them, so we might be able to cut it down small enough. But there is kind of components on the underside of the board too, so it might be a stilt job. The stilts will definitely work out, and if you don't know what I mean by stilts, it's that, basically putting down a female header to, like, just raise it off the board. Like, that would work out fine. I might just do that. So, like, if I make a 3D printed case for it, I'll make it assuming that there is a stilt. And the other handy thing about going with the stilt option is that, like, you can take out the board for whatever. I will be selling this as a kit if it works out. Yeah. I think I have everything I need for it too. So it might take me some time to do all the listing of it and stuff, but yeah. So you'll also notice that it's V1.1. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think if I need to raise it at all, Gavin, I'd probably just use the female spacers that kind of come with the... Yeah, it probably will, but I think I'll probably socket it anyways, just because if I want to take it off at any stage. Okay, so that's that. What else do we have here? So I ordered all the components off JLC. Well, not JLC, LCSC. When I was getting my good question, the other Lone Star. It communicates using this chip here. This is the TM1637. Where did I put the... So it's the same chip that's on these little guys. So it uses I don't think it's actually I squared. It's not I squared C, but it's a 2-line. Maybe it is I squared C. I can't remember, but it is I squared C. Yeah. So to communicate, so that isn't too bad. And that is gonna go here. How are we looking layout wise for that? Oh, it looks pretty good, and there's plenty of room, I would say, to hand solder this. We'll see. But yeah, so the ESP is only connected to that chip using 2 pins, and there's got the pull-ups. It's got a pull-down resistor for both of them. Or is it pull-up? I can't remember. It's pull-up for both of them. Hey, Mystery, how's it going? What city are we talking about? Newcastle. I've never been. Twitch not playing nice as usual. Poor Cian. The Twitch, I don't know. Twitch obviously just hates Oceanic or whatever. Alright, so these are my 10k ohm resistors. I've never had SMD components before. Oh, they're so small. They're not even small. They're 80805s. They're my tweezers, I suppose. What might I do? I'm thinking, could I, like, hold the things in something. I don't know if I have anything small and suitable. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. I don't know if these tweezers are any good. Yeah, I probably should be using an anti-static wristband, but I'm a very grounded person. So how many 10Ks do I need? 3. Like, it's funny, you know, like these are considered large in the SMD world, but it seems so small. Greg is not up. Yeah, so I don't know what one this is from, to be honest. So I've won, I won grand prize in one Instructables competition. So they're the 10Ks over there. Let's just move them over there. That was the Wi-Fi wedding lights. But I've placed in a few. Can you play back sound on Twitch? See if video stuck with chat only. I've placed in maybe 4 or 5. Yeah, makes me sound like I've won so many. My lights project, no, my Google Traffics project placed in 1. What else placed in 1? The matrix, using the LED matrix, placed in 1. I can't remember which other ones. Maybe that's just it. That looks like a good size too. What else do we have here? So that's my Schottky diode. My hands have got a case of the shakes already, so that's it's gonna be a good start. Yeah, I've ordered more solder. Oh, this looks pretty small. I've ordered more solder that's much thinner, and that hasn't come yet. I also ordered a chisel tip for my iron, and this isn't going well. Peeling this off. Oh, we got it here. A proper chisel tip for my iron, and that hasn't come yet. So I have a decent amount of space between the different components, though, so I should be okay with the solder and iron head I have. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I'm like a sniper. I need to control my breathing. Thanks for the follow, Zoli. How's it going? Okay, let's twist this around to try to get it to point up. There we go. I think I only need one 1K resistor. When you're buying off LCSC or whatever, though, like, some of the stuff is so cheap. Like, the resistors were like 0.1 cent or something. Like, as in, it's like, okay, how could I not buy loads of them? What is this? Multi-layer ceramic cap. I've heard that these are like hen's teeth these days. They were still pretty cheap. I don't know. I bought 100 of these. I think just the data sheet of the IC said to use them, so come on. I don't know if I'm showing that on screen. I also don't know if it's worth showing this on screen, Come on, me fighting with a bit of tape. Ah. I'll start it off with my hand. Okay. That's my 1K resistor. I'll put him up there. There are my 2 ceramic caps. Okay. A moment of truth, I suppose. We're ready to start going. What did I say? Start with the smallest stuff and work our way up. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that happening before with hard drives. I don't know if you remember that. That one of the factories, like one of the 3 factories in the world, flooded or something, and just suddenly hard drives were like, they went from like €60 a terabyte to being like €130 a terabyte almost overnight. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so where is my soldering iron? Here. Let's clear a bit of space for myself. Get this S&D stuff done. Right, so I'm gonna start at a temperature of 360. Maybe 350. Yeah, I think that's my approach. All right. Whether it works out or not, who knows? But it's nice smell coming from my soldering iron at the moment, which is always good. I don't seem to be burning anything though, so that's always a good sign. Where is my metal spongy thing? I'm sure it's around somewhere. There for some reason, I don't know why. Okie dokie. I do have a hot air station. Well, you can't see it, but it's up there. But I want to try do this with a hand solder because, like, that's what most people, if I sell this as a kit, would be using. So I want to show that it can be done or whatever. Okay, so we'll start with the flattest components and work our way up, I suppose. Let's move him off. Yeah, thanks for the follow, Kaboom. My tweezers isn't really big enough for the IC. Do I have a bigger set of tweezers? Or a wider tweezer set? I do. So we'll move him off there. So I guess we could start with we could start down here and see how we get on. So I'll I got my flux too. Oh yes, I put it over in my solder shelf. That'd be a nice thing, actually. Yeah. So because like it's an ESP8266 and a display and a buzzer, like we'll be able to do kind of whatever we want to do with it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of flux on. I'm going to start on this side. I think I'm trying to put it on both sides. Right, so I'm going to put a little bit of blue tack. Where's my blue tack? Just to hold the board steady. If you don't know, I'm a pretty big fan of blue tack as a soldering aid, but not everybody is. I did design this board myself, so if it's terrible, I only have myself to blame. How's that focus wise? I think we can get you a little bit more focused than that. No, that wasn't too bad actually. Maybe if I lean you over that way a small bit, I can bring you in a little bit closer without you getting in my way. Yeah, my alcohol is out in my shed, so I'll have to just test using continuity for the sake of the stream, but I will clean it up afterwards. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, that's a good bit of solder, probably too much solder on that one. Okay, so let's start with a little resistor. Get this solder flowing again. It's a bit doesn't seem like the cleanest solder joint from where I'm looking. It's held in place though, so we'll go. Is there any writing on these ceramic caps? Nope. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. I better keep the text of the resistors all the same direction, or people will give out to me. That seems okay. I think we could get away with that. I guess I'll just solder the other side now. It's not, it's 0805, is it, or 80? It's the next size up anyways. Yeah, I guess it just probably looks pretty small to you because I'm not doing a great job of getting it close in, but I want to also give myself space with my soldering iron. So I guess actually maybe doing it this side, this way would be the way to go. And so I'll start with the resistor. Alright. doesn't seem super clean, but it'll do if it works. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna touch these up now small, but they should be held in place both sides. Okay. Couple of little peaks there and stuff. I guess that's the sign of too much solder. But anyways, it should be okay. You like my silk screen? I made it myself. Some of it just came as components for you know, with the libraries or whatever, but so I put that text in there because this was, out of all the boards I worked on, this was the only one where I had space to just mess around, so I just thought it's nice to have space to write stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty horrible solder job, but look, if it works, it works. I won't be complaining. Okay, so let's do our next two resistors, I guess. So I'll get my little flux pen again. Try to do both sides. Okay, so the 10K was the one on my left here. So that last approach seemed to work okay for us, so let's do that again. A little bit of solder on this. Clean off my head and go again. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's get I can't keep it the same direction as before, but I'll keep it the same as the silk screen. Not that you're zoomed in enough to be able to see it, but anyways. Maybe a little bit of extra room there would be good. Do I have enough space to solder the next one? I think so. Okay. Probably help if I made it easier on myself. Same thing here, I haven't really left myself enough space to solder the other leg of it. That's better. Don't know if it's any straighter, but it's better. Okay, so let's get a bit of blue tack just to stop it sliding as I apply a tiny bit of pressure to it. It probably won't apply enough to move it, but this is a ground plane, so there's a lot of copper around it, so Do a great job heating that up now. Whether that's done or not now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah, they're thermal relief. So for anybody who's wondering what that thermal relief means, you can kind of see it here in the ground one. I could be okay. See that pin there? You can see that the copper isn't like all around it. It's kind of joining to it in like little gaps or whatever. Okay, let's move on to the transistor. Okay, I'll try to be in and out quicker. This ground pad is going to have the same problem though, I think. I won't put it up at an angle like that. I'll keep it flat. Okay, so let's start with doing this top one here. Let's just tidy up my solder a small bit. Still a bit bunched right at the top. I still have a bit bunched at the top, but sure, it'll do. Okay. Now, what way do I want to attack this? This way, I suppose. The exact opposite of this way. This way, I suppose. Let me see. Sort of smaller soldering tip. I find, especially with stuff like that ground plane, that the smaller soldering tip just wouldn't have the thermal capacity to heat up the ground plane. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's my experience with it. Okay, so that took there. Seems a little bit crooked though, as in it's tilted a small bit. I don't think I made that any better. I think if anything I made it worse. That looks a bit better. Just make sure that it's... Yep. Fine. Thanks for the follow, Itinerantam. I'm not sure how much watts the TS100 is. It definitely should be okay for dissipate or like heating up ground planes, because Marco Reps did a test of it before, and like he was heating up massive ground planes with it, so it could be me rather than the user error. Look like it went okay. Yep. Let's clean up my head before I move on to the next one. Probably too much solder. I think that's okay. I guess it's probably the IC next. Thing I am looking forward to the least. Yeah. Okay. Let's get my flux down. I need to use this. I got this one up here. Flowing, and then we'll move on to my IC. It's a little bit not straight. My lighting isn't great at the moment. Let's blast that up. So let's see, before we move on, it's not too bad. I feel like it's tilting that way a little bit, so I'm just going to try to straighten it up a little bit more. And then I way overcompensated. That looks reasonably good. Okay. So I guess now if I I'm just almost slotting my iron in between the IC legs and keeping the flat side up against the pad that I want to solder to. I'm just dabbing a tiny amount of solder onto it. Okay, that looks yeah, I put the unless I have the dot on the silk screen wrong, I definitely put the IC the right way around, so you can see the dot there. So I think that looks pretty good. Definitely, like I'll beep it out, but I know it's not the most focused, but there's definitely no shorts. Had to say night to the kids partway through. Oh yeah, no problem. I'm glad for any like, I don't know, double checking that's been offered, so don't feel like you're offending me by second guessing anything. How are we looking here? Not too bad. Okay, so let's go for the same approach. So I just want to slot it in there. Dab. Slot and dab. In fairness to whoever made this footprint, they did a good job given the extra length in the for the legs. So the last couple aren't great. Let me. Thanks for the follow, mystery. Nice puns there. Still not 100% sure on that last one, which is the ground leg, but yeah, I'm not at all convinced about that last one. I might need to give it a break though. Might leave that a minute before I get to the rest of it. Yeah, I'm just not convinced that like I've soldered on the IC leg, but I'm not convinced that it is making a good connection with the board. So I presume there's two little lines on my diode here. Oh, sorry. There's two little lines on my diode here. I presume that is like the arrow points to the two lines. Hey Drew, how's it going? Drew, did you were the test it? That's probably a good idea. You were the guy, were you? Were you my customer on Tindy? I didn't put 2 and 2 together at all. So, what did I do? Is it a diode test? So how would I test this normally? So that's showing nothing. Then if I swap it around the other side, it still shows nothing. What would I test this with? Lines are cathode. Line is anode. Oh, interesting. No, it's just somebody from America bought stuff, and I was kind of thinking, was their name Drew? Now that I think about it, lines are anode, lines are cathode. What would I test on my multimeter to get that working, to know that that's right? Let's see. SMD shot. No, they weren't. They were in MI, Michigan, right? Yeah, I didn't hear any continuity. Maybe I wasn't doing it right. So use diode mode. So use, what is it? Use diode mode and see the VF. So I have a diode mode on my, right? That's diode mode. Stick it in a little bit of blue text so it's easier to actually touch. Now I don't know which side is which though. Okay, the right hand side, which you can't see because I'm off screen. The right hand side is the one with the lines on it. Alright, so that's showing something there. And that's showing nothing. So whoever said the lines were the negative were probably correct. I still don't really know what that symbol means. So the symbol is, it should be pointing from negative to positive, right? So that would be that way then, would it? It kind of doesn't matter anyways, because it's a diode for the buzzer. I don't think it really matters, but so anode is the positive side, right? My red terminal of my multimeter was not, my black one was connected to the one with the lines on it, so it conducts in the direction of the arrow. So yeah, the black one, so from positive to negative or negative to positive? So I had it like this and it worked. You can't see any of that. Arrow points to the black lead. Okay, cool. So I'll have to make that pretty clear for people, I think. So that's, I wonder, is it even making enough continuity there? Yeah, that's working there. So positive to negative. Yeah. Thank you, folks. Okay, cool. Now that I have that placed properly, I need to take it off. Is my iron asleep? My sweet prince. Okay. These are quite big pads compared to the other ones. Okay. What did we say? We said the arrow points to the black lead. See, I rotated the board and now I forget what was what. The arrow points to the black lead. Yeah, okay. So what did we say? We said line was cathode. That's not the way I have it on the... Neither are conducting at the moment. I'm a bit lost again. I was very sure and then I moved everything. So it's that way. But that's the arrow pointing away from the line. The line is on the side you want the current flow, so the cathode. Okay. I'm gonna go with this. Bar on the diode line up with the silk screen this time. My leads are... No, my leads are plugged in, right? Whoever said that. Thanks for the bits, Drew. Nice little shamrock bits too. Yeah. I think this is right. Putting it like this. You can't really see. That's not showing up anything, but yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Let's go with this. So we've the lines, what's going on here? We've the lines at the base of the arrow. The wrong way around, CCF, the silk screen. Cool, we've Brian doing SMD. We've Brian struggling. So, do I have the silk screen the wrong way around? Let me consult with my board. So I have the shock key with the negative side going to positive. Why do I have that? So I think the lines on it are the same line as that. So I have it the wrong way around. I don't want it. Yeah, so whoever said lines were where the arrow was pointing to is correct. Thank you. Iron, find a comfy spot in my hand, please. Give myself a little bit more wiggle room. It's not too bad. Can you see? Line is cathode, Gavin. It is across the buzzer. When I was looking up a buzzer circuit before, somebody suggested to put the diode in. and I've been putting it in my buzzer circuits ever since. What's going on here? Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm not 100% sure. What it's for, I can't even remember. I guess it's almost like a flyback diode, is it? Like, as in, I guess if you moved the buzzer, you would be generating voltage, and it's to stop that, is it? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'll just tidy up the other side now here as well. Okay. That's all the SMD stuff done. Now, whether it works or not is a completely other question, but let's see. What else do I need? I need a buzzer. Excuse me. Oh, I wonder, to Dave Darko's point earlier, maybe if I put female headers in for the display, I could use this board as a tester for the displays, like, as in just drop the display in, like, each display I could drop it in, and then for some reason I thought the website was which way around a diode should be. I was like, wow, there's websites for everything. Ooh, this looks a bit small. So I think we have our first problem. The buzzer is too small. The footprint for it. We'll be able to fudge something together, but like, it's, I don't know if you can see that. Hey TD Club, how's it going? So I'm just going to, oh, there's not actually much bend in these wires, so I think we have our first problem with this board. The wires do not bend too good at all. I can bend them with pliers, but just bending them normally, I seem to be like cracking the PCB, I would say, more than anything. So maybe these boards won't be going up on Tindy after all. There's a significant look, if they work, they work. The plus really doesn't line up with either hole, so let me just double check that. Yeah, okay. I have them lined up right. Sorry, you can't see anything. I wonder, can I buy smaller buzzers? So I should have caught this with the old printing it out, and I did print out a copy of this, but I obviously never stuck a buzzer through it. Okay. Not much we can do about that now, anyways. There's not a huge amount of leg to bend, really. Like, I guess you could kind of bend it inwards and then bend it back outwards. precision bending. Okay, so let's try. How's that for a? The thing is, I have no idea how. I have no idea where I want to bend it to. I don't know if that's much better, to be honest, but I've actually bent it too far. Oops. Okay, there. That's pretty good. Right? We could probably bend it even better than that, but sure. That could be fine. I'll decide what I want to do with that. Right down to the back and bend it. It's fairly fragile. I guess sure I have loads of them, so it doesn't really matter. Like it just does. It felt kind of cracky when I was If any buy these kits, you're gonna have like these precision bent precision bent buzzers to put in it. I will pre-bend these buzzers if I have to. Like that's a pretty flat. Yeah, like that's grand. What else do we need? Oh, don't pre-bend. See you, Mystery. Thanks for joining. You want to bend better than me. I've no doubt you'll be able to. What am I looking for? Buttons. Some right angled buttons. These were another thing that I want the full experience. I'll make that an option in the Tindy store. Do you want bent or not bent? Oh, so this is interesting. I'm a bit tight for space there. See, suddenly when things are bigger than they're meant to be, I suppose I could put the button out the front. It doesn't really matter whether it's the back. No, it should be at the back. We just need to make it work. Yeah. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Yeah. Function before beauty. That's what they say. All right. I'm pretty sure that these holes are the right size because I tested them. Maybe I didn't test them that well. Maybe this particular button is just a bit finicky. It's maybe a tiny bit wide. The button, or sorry, the holes for the button. No, it's right. It's just I was being a little careful with it. Okay, just need to get a bit aggressive with that. What else do I need? I need LDR. Something I didn't have in my prototype version. The parts do clash. Yeah, you see, what the problem is that basically the buzzer is bigger than my silk screen anticipated, Like, it's such a pity because I've tons of room. I could have put it anywhere, like. Okay, so I have to solder it so that it's flat with the thing. Okay, that seems kind of flat. Let's see though. Do I have anything like around the right size that could hold me up? That's actually not bad. Not bad at all. Maybe. What are we doing flatness wise? Okay, I'm going in. I haven't put in my LDR yet, but I'll do that afterwards. Oh, my soldering iron's off. That would probably help. Yeah, those switches are solid as a rock. I'm sorry that I'm terrible at designing boards. Check, you have to get to Rev 3, isn't that what this is? Just don't look. It's pretty level. It's not that level at all. Shh. Say nothing. Okay. It's probably way too much solder for that. We are where we are. Let's clean myself up a little bit. Okay, give myself solder hard mode here. I'll be soldering with a ton of stuff around me. I think my ground planes are too big, even with the thermal relief. Like it definitely struggles, or at least the 350 watt of the iron struggles. Maybe I need to install the custom firmware on this one. Like the entire, like this entire section is a ground plane. Like everything you see here. So this entire PCB here is a ground plane. Just, I don't know, it's probably just too much ground plane. Like it has a lot of heating up to do. I always believed the new TS100. But say like if now, what would you consider a good station, Eric? Because like a lot of people would have been using the kind of cheaper Chinese stations, but like I'm pretty sure the TS100 would be considered better than them. Oh, maybe I'm wrong in that. But like you should definitely just look at Marco Rep's video on it. Like any short failings of this iron are down to me and not it, I would say. So I was thinking I'd leave a little bit extra with this so I can like point it up. I don't know how much extra. There, maybe? I guess up near the buttons. I don't know. Ah. This is why you do the bigger stuff last. Because that speaker is our buzzer is well and truly in my way at the moment, and we are where we are. I think as well, so I've ordered a chisel tip. I think the chisel tip will be an improvement for the ground plane issues, because like it's just got more smell of that melted blue tack. It's just got more it's got more metal in the game basically, right? Like the problem, the smell of that blue tack is bad. The problem with this one is that it's, you know, it's hard to get enough metal touching what you want to touch. I could be wrong. I also have the iron quite low there as well. It's at 350, which I would consider quite low for a ground plane. I don't know as well. I actually don't solder a huge amount either. Okay, so let's listen to Dave here and do breakout pins, or pin headers for the. I'm right in saying that they'll slot into this one. To do, yeah. Just testing it out there. Yeah, so the sensor, like, you could use it for a light, like as in it's bright outside, so you should be waking up, or also if you want to dim the display or something. So there's a couple of options for that. Another thing that I added in just because I had some extra pins was 5-volt ground and D8 broken out if you wanted to attach it to like a NeoPixel strip to kind of like as part of your alarm to, you know, have a like a light to wake you up. Right, so I need to be putting back on my goggles anyways. So I need to there. So I find the best way of doing this is to sacrifice the one beside where you need to. Right, so that's it marked. So now I'm just gonna cut down on it. Perfect. Now, right, yeah. I was like, that's a pretty clean cut. No. Right, I'm not too worried about this being super neat, so sorry for bumping you. Right. So again, I'm sacrificing one because you can never cut in the middle properly between two. Just sacrifice one. These are nice and short now, but I think I'll still put the Wemos on stilts to you know what I might do? Actually, I might put the just to get a nice secure fit on it. I'll put them into the, so that should be kind of keeping it straight from two. Yeah. If you have enough connectors, I'm not too worried about it. Use a little breakout with oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I just thought it'd be a good idea to break out the extra pins. The other thing as well, with it being like a Wi-Fi board or whatever, like you should be able to interface with other stuff. Like even if you wanted to communicate with IFTTT to turn your Nest on or whatever, like that should be a possibility. That was a horrible connection. There's not a huge amount of copper to grab on these solder points. I'll give myself negative marks for that one though. There's enough, like, but it's just not. I think the display's legs being thinner would make this a little bit easier too, but sugar. There. That one's not great. So we'll just give him another little blast. Alright. Ooh. Maybe that could be a Kickstarter for somebody. A tool for snapping them cleanly. What would it look like? I suppose if you had like a Stanley blade or something. So like maybe if you 3D printed something that slotted into them and like had a little kind of slot that was just wide enough for a Stanley blade to cleanly cut. I don't know. But I hear you. These were terrible. One problem I have now, though, if I'm doing this as a socket, is that I won't have one to take pictures of on Tindy or for Tindy. It's not the end of the world. Like I could just take the photo in such a way that I could just take the photo in such a way. So like, I actually have I've used this as my alarm a bit. I like it a lot. Like the fact that like if you ever lose power, it just automatically corrects the time when it turns back on. Being able to set the alarm like remotely, you'd be down watching TV and you're like, oh, I need to get up at 6 tomorrow, and just go to the IP address. That all that stuff is quite nice. And like, I guess you should be able to like add extra features to it then as well, like whatever you need to do. But thanks, Eric, I appreciate the the compliments on it. Irish people aren't great at taking compliments. I don't know if that comes true. I think I have a 19-volt power supply as well. Yeah, it's 19 volts. I'm almost certain that it is. So DS1 is going this side. Where is my Wemos? Here is a Wemos, whether it's the right Wemos, I don't know. I'm getting kind of butterflies now. Because I still have no idea if this is going to work. Because I didn't even beep it out either, so that's going to be interesting. Okay. Can I hold it down or prop it up or something? What can I prop it up with? That doesn't seem like too bad of a fit. Too bad it isn't a great fit here. Oh, that's perfect. Should at least get one or two good ones in there. Then we can worry about the rest of them. It's not a great one though. I guess with the Wemos in it as well, it's probably a decent amount of stuff to heat up. I don't know if that's enough holding it in place. It would be better if I got another one somewhere. What can you see? Oh, you can see probably better than I can. This is like a bucking bronco at the moment. Alright. I can take the Wemos out now. Finish soldering this off. I'm gonna need to cut myself some new solder, but we'll do what we can before that. This is gonna get interesting. I guess I can just kind of go from the bottom here. I'll get myself some more solder. Come on. Come off. I don't like how it's not melting. Let's crank it up a small bit. I'll get back to it now in a second. I've been terminally bullying it a little bit. Let's just tin my iron a bit too. Leave it there for a minute. Come on. Again, not a very good connection. These ground plans that get me again. It'll do for the moment. A little tidy up required on this buzzer. Okay. Right, we taking bets? What do we think? Before I plug it in. It just relies on NTP. There's no RTC on the board. I thought about it for a while, and I just didn't see a scenario where it was realistic that the RTC would be that useful. Like the NTP will keep it within like a second when there is internet. So that's just pretty decent. And then when you don't have internet, like the internal, like it'll keep itself relatively in time. So if you don't have internet, your time isn't going to be that great, especially if you don't have internet for like a few, like if you didn't have internet for a day or two, like I don't know what the time would be like then, but like the general scenario is you have internet and it'll be fine. So like I guess if you wanted to, you could hook up something to it. I don't know if I've broken off enough pins, but yeah. Right, what do we think? Is it gonna work? Not gonna work? I'm pretty sure it has the correct code on it and everything. I think it's every minute. I'm not 100% sure on that. Like I wrote this code like in February maybe. It's been a while on the. Rob says it'll work. Colin, you're all more positive than I am. Okay. Oh, yes. So boot is the correct thing for that to say. Can you see that? It says boot. So it's gotten an IP address of 3. And that is the current time in Ireland at the moment. I'm so happy. Yay! Okay, yeah, so that's the correct time. It took a while there to boot up. I was a little bit worried, but so I just reset it there. So it's back to boot. Blam, Rockstar. Oh, I'm so happy. This is my first, like, so the other boards, like say the breakout one and like the power blocker or whatever, they weren't really boards. They're easy to. Ugh, what happened there? Oh, that says conf, but not correctly. Interesting. Now it says conf correctly. Well, that could be the. That's probably the That's probably the headers are a little bit wider than the headers are probably a little bit wider than the legs of the, like if you compare, I'm just making excuses for myself, but like I don't know if you can see that like a standard jumper is definitely thicker than these, so I guess there's a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah, so this is in conf mode at the moment, which means it's waiting for me to put in my Wi-Fi details. I wonder, can I just reset that and use the old ones? I don't think so. I think it'll go back into conf mode, but we'll see. Yeah, so like you can see it better there, right? It looks nice to me, like at a straight on angle. It looks kind of blown out to you there. Still booting. Okay. COM port 6 is not available. It's because it's COM port 4 I need. Still in boot. It's taking its time. Right, so let's just reset again. Using last save values. I'm just reading the serial monitor at the moment. It seems to be struggling. The LDR function is not programmed. Thanks for joining, Erythrium. I appreciate you sticking around. Good night. The LDR is not programmed whatsoever, so there's a few things we need to test, like the buttons and the buzzer. We just need to get it to turn on now. I think it's in kind of a weird state with let me try to get it to double reset. I don't know. It's in a weird state. It's not connecting. Let me find out. Let me open up the code and see what would leave it in this state where it's stuck on boot. Like if it was that's interesting. The one that I have open here doesn't have... Oh, it does have Wi-Fi manager. Yeah, I'm pressing it to reset. It's not... yeah, there's a... I'm just pressing the reset on the D1 Mini. Yeah, so... Where is the setup? Setup. Okay, so it says seg boot, sets alarm to be output, sets alarm to be low, takes the button inputs, interrupt pin on just a button, okay. Then Wi-Fi manager creates, I wonder is that there? It should say that it's in conf mode, if so, MDS begin alarm. Where are we? So Wi-Fi manager auto connect, and if it doesn't auto connect, it should go into alarm clock mode. And so it should set the segments. So it's not entering config mode, but it's also not connecting to the internet. Or sorry, it's not like it's not connecting, but it's not doing this either. So that's interesting. It's kind of it's in a funny state with Wi-Fi manager by the looks of things. So I might just force Wi-Fi manager to do something. Okay, connected there. It hasn't gotten the time yet. Whatever is going on. So it's gotten its IP address, but it hasn't gotten the time. It says that the port is busy. That's because it's open in another Arduino. Connected to SSID. Hey, Yem Coupe, is it? Thanks for the follow. Okay, it's fallen over, but also gotten the correct time now. I want to like it makes a big difference to you to have the tape on it, but I also don't want to ruin the the display. Maybe I can just set the contrast down on this thing. So that's one of the proven that one of the buttons works. That's the snooze button. At the moment it displays the IP address. Oh, interesting. It's connected to my other network. I don't have double reset detector on this. Interesting. That doesn't really matter all that much, I suppose. Let me see if I can adjust the contrast on my webcam to get it. Exposure. Yeah, I know it's a bit. It's very bad from a. Can I get it? It looked okay for you at an angle, right? Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, no, this is still an old version of Arduino IDE and ESP8266 for sure. Okay, so let's set an alarm and get that to work. So 192.168.0.3. So that's the current time, except it's not. Oh, sorry, that's the current alarm. Yes. So the alarm gets saved to spiffs as well, so it's persistent across resets. So it is currently 2344. This actually works a bit better on Arduino because it gives you an alarm, or sorry, a time like pop up when you. Let's just set that to 2315. Okay, so when that turns 2315, we should hear the buzzer. Hopefully. I hear no buzzer. I wonder, did I break the buzzer? Or is it just not working? It's also playing like a melody at the moment too, so that's not actually a default time alarm time. It's just something I had set before. So the buzzer is not working. Okay, so let's program that pin to be high, I guess. So let's do till delay. So we're counting our chickens before we hatch her. Let's do delay. Let's do this again. I just want to see if I can like beep out that that's working, or not even beep out, pin out that it's working. So what do I want to see? Ground. No, is it uploading? It's still compiling. So ground is this middle one. So there's 3 volts on that at the moment. 0, 0, 3 volts. I don't know if I can. The buzzer did have polarity, and I put it in the right polarity. I'm pretty sure. Maybe the diode is wrong? The diode isn't needed really either. So that's 3. There's 3 volts on that at the moment. Now there's not. Now there is. So let's just reset that. 0, 3. Do I end on a high? Okay. Still nothing coming from the buzzer though. I wonder, did I break the buzzer bending the pins? This is in boot mode at the moment still. Yeah, so it's outputting to the correct pin, at least. Let's check if this is connected to that. Not well. It is connected though. I guess maybe check that it's connected to. This isn't. It's gonna be a bit of a reach now. Okay, it is connected to the buzzer. Maybe I did the circuit for the buzzer the wrong way around. So positive is no, it didn't. Or at least I don't think it did. An oscilloscope would be handy now. Maybe I broke the buzzer. Like that's possible. I did kind of hear a crack at one stage. So maybe I'll just desolder it and see about just kind of not bending the pins or something. So if I'm back to soldering, you're back to my desk. Right, it's a pretty big thing to bridge on solder mask, but sure, I'll go for it. It's going to be hard enough to pull this out. Definitely do it another hand. What can you see? Not a huge amount. Let's turn it that way. This is not very good for grabbing a hold of buzzers. I can just do it with my hand. Yeah. Who knows? I had a buzzer circuit floating around somewhere. So I know that this buzzer works. So what I might do is I might solder a male to female DuPont cable. Sure, silver. The vice of persuasion. Yeah, I like my vice actually. It's an Aldi special, but it does the job in fairness to it. Right, so that's one done. So this would just let me like prove that it's not I won't have to bend a buzzer to put it in place. Might give you some like a special adapter for adapting these buzzers into smaller footprints. It's not a great connection though. No, it's not too bad if you shove it down. So I guess what I'd probably be better off doing is just like playing a tone, right, rather than waiting for an alarm or anything. We were playing with a tone one recently, right, for the alarm, or for the kitchen. Let me pull that up. Just have to find it. I have too many Arduino IDs. Because I set up a new one as well, a 186. Hey, thanks for the bits, TD Club. I really appreciate that. Kitchen microwave. No, I had a buzzer, didn't I? Yeah. What pin is the buzzer on? I guess I could find that in code. The buzzer is on. I don't know. Is it there? I don't think I'm showing you my code at the moment, am I? No. Alarm. Okay. So it's on D1. So this was the buzzer we were playing with for the alarm, or the microwave sound. So let's upload that. It would probably help if I plugged the board in. Now I guess the thing is, I'm after changing two things at a time here now, because I've changed the code and the buzzer. Still compiling. Oh, no buzz. Okay, I think it's time to start beeping stuff. I could just have something soldered wrong too. Okay. Okay, so the buzzer is plugged into this little gentleman, which is D1, I think. Let's get yes, you will do, Mr. Wemos. Okay, so the D1 part is correct. Yeah, the buzzer's the same. It's a different transistor. It's an SMD transistor. Maybe I have that wrong. So D1 goes into its resistor and then is switching the transistor. So I guess it's either my footprint for my transistor is wrong. The diode could be wrong still too, and if it's just dumping all the voltage to ground or something. It's not a great connection on that diode, but at the same time it looks like it should be connected. could give that a little taparoo. Couldn't hurt, I suppose. Let's get a little bit of flux going for a bit of flow. I don't feel like I've inhaled enough toxic fumes today. It's certainly much better. I don't know whether it'll make any difference whatsoever, but makes me feel better about myself, I suppose. Well, I guess what I should do is just write a sketch that switches D1 between low and high and measure the output on it, right? So this is now my test sketch, so I'll just do a delay here and do a digital, is it digital, no, it's lowercase, digital right D1, use buzzer, buzzer low, alright, so that would rule out, like if we measured on the, it'd probably help if I plugged it in. If we measured on our multimeter, that the far side of the transistor is switching, that would rule out the transistor as being the problem. So let's switch over to desk and me. What's it on? Continuity mode. Let's move that to voltage. That doesn't seem to be changing. Is it changing on this side? Let's measure off the resistor, I suppose. Okay. So the resistor is changing. The transistor isn't. So it seems like the transistor is my problem. So let's look up the spec sheet of it, which I have no idea what it is. Where is it? Here. Okay, so it's the Schottky diodes. Is I find everything but the spec sheet, or the bag of components that I want. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's not a huge amount of info on the bag to let me know what it is. Maybe that's a manufacturer number, description, transistors with a SOT. Let me see if I can go to LCSC. No, it's it's funny, I said the right one, but I typed out a different one. Okay, I don't know what I can show of this, so once I pull up the right thing, I can show you. So I'm just going to the LCS website, and I am LCSC website to find out what I bought. Okay. It's taking its time to load for some reason. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the data sheet. So, collector, base, emitter. So emitter, which is my 2, oh, they're the wrong way around. Rats. Right. These are the wrong way around. So if we look at this diagram here, so my emitter is 2, which if we look at this piece number here is the top one. Upside down. Let me try something. I think I had that right before, and I double guessed myself, and I swapped them around to be wrong. That's a bit of a boo-boo now. Looks like we'll be going back to get them done. Right, so what I'm going to try do, and it makes it awkward now that I've so much stuff in the way, is I'm going to try move the... I'm going to move the thing up, like connect it at an angle, and then like bodge wire the ground connection. Okay. I might just, don't know, maybe I'll just sacrifice this this guy. He's been through a lot. Would upside down work if you bent the pins? Maybe. I think it'll be a bit of a stretch, literally. What do I want to do here now? I could just hot air this. Would give me a good excuse to use my hot air gun. No, I'll do it the BLough way. It's just there's so much crap on the board now that it's makes it harder to hold things in place and stuff. Alright, so I'm just gonna try blob a bit of solder here. Put a bit of extra solder there to make it easier. Maybe the heat gun is the way to go. I don't know. If I blob solder across the top of it, might be. Just did too good of a job soldering it in. Right. Let's try my heat gun for this process for the first time. So what temperature do you think I should have this at? 350? So far I've only used this for melting heat shrink.